You're in the right place. Online, on the web, and on air. All over the world.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to another Wednesday evening. The sun is shining. It's not too bad out there, but apparently it's going to be warmer weather coming in the following few days.
16 degrees at the moment.
Yeah. So, as I say, welcome to the KTPF Community Talk Show, live here in the hub, with myself, Suzanne.
Thank you.
And
Steve. Yes, I'm here.
Talk radio. You hear us, we hear you.
We're the online paranormal talk show that's brought to you by Keeping the Paranormal Friendly, the community website that is in association with Trifield Paranormal and Paranormal Events for You. And we are dedicated to do just that, just what it says on the tin, to help bring the paranormal world together. Those of you who don't know, we were established in 2007 and dedicated as an ongoing community, not just for when you're experiencing animosity from others, but any time. We welcome every paranormal investigator and enthusiast alike, including hobbyists, scientists, psychic mediums from around the globe, to join us as we cover this vast, fascinating subject. Okay, encouraging you to share information, advice, and most importantly, friendship. Remember, collaboration, not competition. So, as I say, we've had a bit of a quiet week, haven't we, dear? We've been relaxing.
To be honest, after your illnesses and that, it's needed.
Yes.
Not just for you, but I'm knackered.
Yeah, so
I'm not sleeping too well.
It's come to a stage where we're winding down a little bit, aren't we?
Yes,
Sort of starting to relax a bit more.
We need a break.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to be doing the show for a couple of more weeks, and then we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
maybe change the regularity of it.
yes. Find out when it's going to happen and what have you. So
rest assured, we will keep you informed.
Yeah, and we will be back. Okay, so
yes, we're not disappearing forever.
No, we're not. So yes, it should be. I think we need a break. As I say, we've been going since the 21st of March last year, and as I say, with my recent illnesses, it's come to the stage where I need to take a break for a while.
Well,
not just with this, with other things as well.
It's not just the show. It's we've got the paranormal group and everything that's taking time, and
this is it.
And keeping that going and everything else. So.
Yeah, and as I say, I've got a few.
And then we've got to live as well.
Yeah. So, and I've got a few hospital appointments coming up with stroke physician and stuff. So
you can always Skype us, John, on a Wednesday.
Yes.
He said, "What will you do on a Wednesday?"
So, but we'll be around, don't we? Somewhere.
Yeah, we're not going away forever.
So no, we're not going away forever. But we thought we'd better let you know. Okay, we've still got a few people booked in for the next few weeks. Can't remember where I put my diary, but people like Nick Redfern, he's coming on.
Yeah, Nick Redfern's coming to join us and tell us about
his new book.
His new book and his many adventures.
Many adventures.
And of course tonight we have Mr. Tony Toppin coming in.
Yes, we do.
Talking about all sorts of things.
Yeah. So thank you for that, John. Yes, my health does come first.
A bit of brainwashing.
Yeah. So
Tony.
I'm a little bit concerned on what he's going to talk about, because when he said mind control in pop culture, I'm thinking things like pop videos and stuff like that. So,
well, that's part of it.
So we'll see what happens.
That is part of it.
You know, see what comes through. But yeah.
At the moment we have 7 people listening to us. But only one in the chat room.
Right. Reiki Debs.
Hello, Reiki. How are you?
Hi, Reiki Debs. How are you?
Good to see you.
Hope you was listening before you popped in. Caught that little bit of a spiel about us taking a break in the next after July.
After Nick, isn't it?
After Nick.
After Nick Redfern.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, I'm good. Hope you are too. Not too bad. Not too bad. So, nice to see you. And in the words of Bruce Forsyth, to see you nice.
What are you like, woman?
I know. Well, so, but as I say, we've got a few things in the pipeline. We've got a few guests that we need. Hi, yes, I heard you need to take care of yourself. Yes, definitely. So,
A bit of healing.
But as I say, we won't be too far away, and we won't be away too long, will we, Steve?
No, we're at the very least. I'm thinking at the moment, until we get things with yourself and everything sorted out, maybe once a month.
So,
but we'll see, and we will keep you informed.
Yes,
we will indeed.
See what happens.
I have some. Do you want me to show you some observations?
Yes, go on then.
Okay. I found this one on the that was a message that was sent to Paranormal News, and it says, "Hello, Paranormal News. The purpose of this message is to inform you that there's a new website named diedinhouse.com."
Oh yeah.
Yes. It might be. This actually might be quite interesting for paranormal investigators if they had it in this country, because it is actually in the US. By using a valid US address, it instantly searched millions of records to determine if a death has occurred in that location, i.e., the house you're trying to buy. Because it's not a standard practice for document to address of deaths, the diedinhouse.com report also includes previous residents and their vitality status. Additional information assists you with researching the property's history. The site was launched with over 118 million records, and it continues to grow daily.
Really?
So that could be really interesting if we were doing for stuff in this country.
Yeah, it would
but
be,
unfortunately, we don't have one.
No, we don't.
As they say, only in America.
Yes. So.
Right, I'm off to Japan now.
Dang, 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 dang.
Hong Kong Fooey. Do you remember that Hong Kong Fooey?
I do actually.
Student psychic attack at Japanese all-girls school sends 18 to hospital.
Oh right.
In a fantastically strange bit of news from the land of the rising sun, a psychic attack straight out of a Stephen King novel. Was reported at an all-girls school, sending over a dozen to hospital and shaking up the student body. Last Wednesday, at a well-known prep school at Kamigori High in Hyogo, Japan, emergency services were called out and reported 18 girls were taken to two separate hospitals after what was described as a bizarre hour-long state of panic, during which dozens of teenage girls began hyperventilating. I don't know. The initial incident began around 11:45 a.m. when the first year student began complaining of feeling bad. Her hyperventilating sparked a chain of similar events that affected 17 first years and one third year student. Things got even stranger. Wait, come back. Too far down on me thing again.
Right.
When rumours began spreading that the incident was actually the work of a psychic attack dealt from one of the first year girls to exhibit bizarre symptoms. According to the AIO police department, it was well known amongst other students that a girl displays supernatural senses, and they believed she was to blame for the hospitalizations. Some of the girls at Kamigori High took to Facebook and Twitter to air their concerns following the event. This doesn't seem like simple hyperventilation, fellow student Kaisei Yamamoshi. Sorry.
He's got the big words Yamamura.
This time. There are a lot of suspicious rumours spreading around the internet. Wonder if they're better off calling in an exorcist. Hang on, round page. The victims have since been released from hospital and have shown no long-term side effects. The girl accused of psychically attacking her fellow students has not responded to rumours about her alleged psychic abilities. And authorities have not released her name to the public, although I suspect it might be Carrie. Carrie. Do you remember the film?
Yes, Carrie. I wasn't keen on the remake, I must admit.
No, I wasn't. I preferred the original one.
Mm.
Ghost of a little girl heard giggling at a museum.
Giggling?
Giggling.
Which museum would this be?
I will tell you here. It's in Spalding. Little girl's laughter.
Spalding?
Yeah, Spalding.
Oh.
Little girl's laughter sent shivers down the spine of most cynical members of a paranormal team visiting a museum in Spalding. Extreme Paranormal visited Gordon Boswell Romany Museum in Clay Lake on Saturday night because it seemed like an interesting place to go. Vivian Powell, one of the members, says she knew it was going to be a good night because even before the equipment was set up, things started happening. She said it's just a hobby for us, but some of the members of our technical team are really cynical about what we do. But even before we get set up, some members of the group who are unbelievers said they could hear a little girl giggling. It was an amazing place. We were so gobsmacked. Museum owner Gordon Boswell said he couldn't believe some of the things that happened that night. He said, when I bought a Romany caravan from down south, I was asked if I would take the little girl too.
Oh, wow.
So they obviously knew the little girl was attached to it.
Yeah.
I've seen her a couple of times, but on Saturday I heard her giggling. The team said there was a lot of paranormal activity. At one time, a small table started rocking. And this is the bit I don't believe in this one, to be honest. And then it did a somersault.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. Vivian said, we've already asked if you can go back. Now, the problem with somersaults and things like that.
Somersaults.
Yeah. Because we're basically talking things that shouldn't happen. The tables lift and they go that way and that way. They don't go up in the air and back down again.
No.
That's just practically unheard of.
I know.
But there you go. The Passion and the Unexplained. You like this one, so you like this film, you did.
Go on.
No film in recent years has generated the amount of controversy that Mel Gibson's The Passion of Christ has.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we leave the reviews analysis of the film and its effects and its merits. Let that go to the people who like to do that with films. But things both miraculous and strange occurred.
Right.
While this was happening.
Go on.
For example, the actor who portrays Jesus in the film, James Caviezel, whose initials coincidentally are JC, experienced some strange signs regarding the role 6 months before he ever auditioned for the film. A total stranger walked up to him and said, "You'll be playing Jesus." His identification with the character of Jesus was so strong that fans felt compelled to bow down to him when they saw him.
Wow.
Mel Gibson said he received similar signs that he believes suggested that he should make the film, that he'd only been considering. A French woman who had never met approached him out of nowhere and said, "Jesus loves you." Caviezel was actually struck by lightning during the filming of the movie. About 4 seconds before it happened, it was quiet, and then it was like someone slapped my ears, Caviezel told Newsweek. I had 7 or 8 seconds of like pink fuzzy colour, and people started screaming. They said I had fire on the left side of my head and light around my body. All I can tell you is I looked like I went to Don King's hairstylist. Assistant director, who was also struck by lightning. This time no person was hit, but the bolt struck a cross on which Caviezel was later to be hung. And John Demney, who composed the music, he had lots of trouble. All his hard drives stopped working because obviously everything he was doing in music was on computers and stuff. All his hard drives stopped working and wouldn't be recognised. He actually believes that he saw the devil in human form. He said he was getting pressure from not only from Mel, but from above and below.
Oh, right.
So they were giving him jip. How about that? And that's just on one film. Why did you get a lot of these things with films like that? There's one famous one. I can't remember what it was, but just about everything went wrong on it while it was making it. Was it one of the Omen films
Go on.
that was like that? I'm asking everybody.
I think there was. There's been a few films.
Yeah, I think one of the Omen films, everything went completely wrong while they were trying to make it, and people had bad accidents and everything. Strange how these things just happen.
Yeah, there's been quite a few horror films where they've had things like that happen. That first Omen film, if I remember rightly, there was some stuff on there. So, is that your last one?
That is my last one. What was it? What was the one with the knives? Was that the second one? Because a lot went wrong with that one.
I can't remember whether it's the second or the third one, to be honest with you.
I'm sure Ghost Rider will tell us in a minute because he's into these things.
So, no, I think it was the first one. Wasn't he going to kill him with the knife in the chapel? I really can't remember, to be honest. It's been so long since I've seen it.
He just come up with Brandon Lee.
My favourite. Well, we actually found another one, which was in the Huffington Post.
Huffington Post.
Yes, it's an American thing. Yeah, they do a lot of these weird and wonderful stories. Now,
is that a bit like sport over here?
Could be. I really don't know, to be honest with you.
Sport's a lot of rubbish.
But it does a lot of weird and wonderful things. Yeah.
Go on him.
Now I don't know whether anyone heard anything last week, but or whether I mentioned it last week about Sally getting a settlement for being accused.
Oh, Sally Morgan.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it runs along the line of that. Its headline is British psychic TV channels fined for not telling viewers it's all BS. Yeah. In a move no one saw coming, a British TV channel set up to offer dial-up psychic services have been fined for not telling viewers it's all for entertainment purposes only. Psychic Today, a 24-hour psychic network, was fined the equivalent of $19,079 for claiming on air that its psychics could provide accurate and precise readings for callers, for offering anecdotal stories of successful predictions, and for making claims that presenters have helped solve crimes for the police, according to the Register. Another TV channel, an interactive quiz channel called The Big Deal, was also fined the equivalent of $15,262 for advertising psychic services. The fines were laid down by Ofcom, an independent regulator of the British communications industry that has strict rules about psychics, how psychics can label their skills. In one case, a psychic told viewers she was involved in the police investigation regarding the death of a teenager that was also wrapped up in the recent hacking scandals due to her mobile. While another claimed she once accurately predicted that her friend would become friends with Michael Jackson. Majestic TV, which holds the license for Psychic Today, told Ofcom that while the claims made in both cases were factually correct, the reference to the girl that was murdered, I don't really want to mention her name.
I think John's just put it on the...
Has he? Yeah.
So everybody else know, we just won't say it on there.
Yeah, as was unfortunate, Sky News reported. According to a document the organisation released in December 2011, anyone claiming to be in touch with the spirit guide or a dead person must qualify their powers by saying it's for entertainment purposes, a phrase that must also be stated by the presenter and scrolled on screen. Psychics are also prevented from predicting the future, offering life-changing advice, talking to the dead, or even claiming to be accurate, the Register reported. Ofcom's ruling gets a slightly tilted thumbs up from DJ Growth, president of James Randi's Educational Foundation, an organisation that, according to its mission statement, aims to expose paranormal and pseudoscientific frauds in the media and holds media organisations accountable for promoting dangerous nonsense. While I am happy that Psychic Today was fined for not publicly admitting the claims that they were just for entertainment. I'm dumbfounded that such so-called entertainment is even part of the channel's regular programming, he told the Huffington Post by email. The sad fact is that even with such disclaimer, the gullible are separated from their money because they actually believe in this harmful nonsense. This TV channel is making big money taking advantage of its viewers who think these psychics are real, with or without disclaimer. Now, the ruling and fines, as I mentioned earlier, comes nearly a week after British psychic Sally Morgan had won the equivalent of $193,000 court verdict from the Daily Mirror, which claimed that she used an earpiece to get information about audience members during public appearances. Tom Shiver, an editorial writer for The Telegraph, pointed out that the judgment centred around whether she used an earpiece, not whether she really talks to the dead, as she claims. Now, to be honest with you, like you said earlier when I mentioned this, there's, you know...
My answer then will be prove it.
Prove it, yeah, you know.
Prove what I said isn't right.
But
prove,
I must admit...
Prove I'm not talking to your relatives.
You know, but at the end of the day, right... It's the same with whatever it is around the paranormal. Even us as paranormal investigators, when it comes to investigations, we are really supposed to.
No, we're not.
Turn around and say it's for entertainment purposes only.
No, we're not.
That's what I was told.
No.
Because we're contacting spirit.
No.
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 Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because we're not actually doing the psychic bit to start with. Secondly, especially in our point, we're not doing that. We're teaching them to investigate.
Well, we are, yeah, but I'm on about in general. I actually saw somewhere where you have actually got to say that now, apparently, allegedly.
Don't even go there.
Allegedly, apparently.
It's ridiculous that they say these things. It's entertainment.
It isn't. That's what they're saying. It's entertainment.
Is it hell?
But it's the same. Don't you think about it? It's the same as Most Haunted. They had to put it's for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, even though they were doing investigations
they were
anyway.
broadcasting it, which is different.
Well, I suppose so.
That's slightly different. But at the same point, we're investigating claims. We're not saying what was there is actually there, are we?
No.
All paranormal groups, yes, they sell it that so and so's happened and this happened and that's happened. But what we're actually doing is investigating those claims. Right. So we're actually doing what Big Mouth Randy, and that's what he is. To me, he's a bit of a gobshite. He's come up with all these things. He tests so-called psychics and wants it done on a scientific basis to order. And anybody that's sensitive or medium or psychic will know you just can't do that. It just doesn't happen to order. There's either someone wants to talk to you or there isn't. You can't just say, well, yeah, come on, I want to talk to you, because it won't happen.
Right, okay.
So that can't be done. So his £1 million that he's put up, that's never going to be paid to anybody.
No, it won't be.
Because him or his organisation would never admit that anybody's passed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They won't admit that anybody's passed their tests. Because the moment they do, they've lost.
Yeah.
Because then they have to withdraw the fact that it's all bonkum. Don't they?
Yeah.
Because they've had proof that somebody's actually beat them. I wish somebody would. And broadcast it, but you never know.
Okie dokie. So, well, let me just tell you what's happening tonight. He's just said hello to me.
Hello.
Tony, I think, yeah. Hello. We're going to have Tony on in just a sec. But then John's coming on later on. He's going to be talking to us about paranormal groups that he's been with and how he got involved, and which is what we want to hear. And he's got some very eye-opening stuff to tell you, so listen into that. So we're going to contact Tony's going to be talking about mind control and pop culture. So, because we deal with everything on here, so let's see what happens, shall we? We all know Tony.
You can talk for England, does that, Tony?
He does. Just wait for him to say, yay! Pop music. Interesting stuff. I do hope so. So, okay. He's just typing. Yeah, I hope you got all the questions.
I don't know questions. I've got some
go. Chuckles. He calls me Chuckles. He calls me Chuckles.
That's because you're always giggling.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hello, KTPF. Can you hear me?
Yes, dear. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, good. So, what are we talking about tonight, Tony?
Well, I thought we'd come on tonight and talk about mind control and pop symbolism and all that kind of thing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And so what we've got is, well, basically, I mean, we've also got, in terms of paranormal, we've also got the recent Channel 4 program that happened.
Yes.
And I did a very good interview with Miles Johnston about that.
Okay. So first of all, what have you been up to since we last spoken to you?
Well, I've been doing some stuff for Channel 5.
Yeah.
And we've been also doing a load of stuff to do with the remote viewing course that I'm setting up in London and Manchester. All about, due to popular demand, it's a full day course, is this one.
Yeah.
I'm coming to Manchester, so anybody who listens to KTPF will get a whopping discount. Probably get nearly £15 off the price, I would think. If they mention KTPF at the door, they'll get a whopping discount.
Right, and when is this going to be?
It's going to be in August. The venue is going to be confirmed.
Okay.
I'm not sure, I'm not sure when the venue, but we've got one coming up in London at the old Sergeant in Wandsworth.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be doing the full remote viewing course, which includes a bit of something called Russian New Cosmology, which is the Russian remote viewing techniques that were pioneered by a very secretive unit in Russia. Yeah. And the Politburo thought they'd all gone absolutely bonkers.
Right, so ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here. Watch this space. We'll find out the dates for you for Manchester. And if you want to go, then all you've got to mention, as Tony said, is KTPF on the door, and you get £15 off. So you'll let us know, and we'll post it on our page. Yeah,
absolutely.
Or you can do it yourself. You're part of the membership there, aren't you? So.
Oh yes, no, I am. It's certainly it's going to be a good one, because we're going to be covering the things that the Russians looked at, and and the things that the Americans looked at. And we're going to blend it all together, right. And I think people are going to be quite taken aback with the course and what we've got to offer.
So is this? How long is this going to go for? Is it a one-day course? Or?
It's a one-day. It's a one-day seminar.
Yeah.
There are other companies that come to London from America. The former, I won't mention names, but they're charging nearly £3,500.
Wow.
And I'm charging £50 for the day, with a discount, obviously, for KTPF listeners. Right. And they'll learn techniques, about remote viewing that they've probably never seen or heard of before.
Well, thank you for the discount.
Yeah, excellent. So get yourselves there. Get yourselves to Manchester. That's where it's going to be happening, I hope.
There you go. So you've heard it here from the man himself. So you've been doing that, and what else have you been doing?
Well, I've been compiling a book and getting on with a remote viewing course, and doing some television stuff. I've been making sure, however, after the things that recently happened, there have been a couple of production companies that I've sent on their way because they wanted to coop me up. I'm at the stage where I kind of like editorially know what I want.
Yeah, we've seen you on a couple of, we watched on, it was on this morning, we taped that so we could watch it, and and then you was on that program 7/7 thing, was it?
Yes, that was an ongoing matter with the BBC, and it's still where I was actually defamed on camera. That it was very defamatory what they did, and libelous, frankly. There is still an ongoing issue with the BBC regarding that. I've yet to hear from the BBC management. One thing that I felt, and I could be wrong, that I was disappointed about, was the way the BBC said that they were concerned about what had gone on, but then pushed for the Ofcom to rule in their favour, which I'm frankly find very distasteful. that matter will need to be addressed. It's still ongoing, actually, even though Ofcom have ruled in the BBC's favour. I'm still absolutely hopping about it. It's been nearly a year now, and I'm still hopping about it.
Right. Well, Ghost Rider said, "Can I just say that the show on Channel 4 was good, and well done for Tony for sticking up for yourself."
Yeah, well, exactly. This is absolutely correct. I've got to be careful, as I say, in my position, because you could easily get somebody who will turn up and want to exploit you. Yeah. But I'm kind of like, I now know the way of the. In a way, it was a good thing getting my fingers burned, but luckily the mainstream media have been good to me in that sense, in terms of the UFO stuff. But the alternative media have not been very gracious to me at all. You know, in terms of conspiracy and that sort of thing. So I'm not sure what the future lies, but I see something coming up with a major broadcaster in the weeks ahead, and I want it pretty polished, and I want it slick, and we're going to come from a backwards way on angle. I'm going to come from the angle of, have I made all this up in my head? Is it really happening?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the kind of thing the angle I'm going to come on, which should be hugely entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, preceding that, I mean, after that, I did notice quite a few of your posts, and you know, you obviously didn't seem very happy, and you know, I did feel for you, I must admit. So
well, yeah. Luckily, I've got a very good group of people who support me and just keep me on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of public relations and what I'm saying and what I'm not saying, because I'm at that stage now where we're just slightly going beyond the zone of just being a talking head media contributor, and we're getting involved a bit more now, which is what I wanted to do in the long term to start with. And I want a real polished, slick mainstream media documentary regarding UFOs. I live in hope that it will happen, and I think it will. I do think it will. I think there'll be a broadcaster that will put its money where its mouth is and do it.
Right. Okay. Good. So what are we going on about tonight? We're talking.
Well, anyway, I'm yakking on here. Yeah, of course. Well, what were we talking about? Are we? We're talking about the situation regarding pop symbolism in the mainstream media.
Okay.
And I find it a very interesting subject. In fact, I've been researching it quite thoroughly, and then what with one thing and another, we'd got it all. You know, I'd forgotten most of it, so I thought, oh my God, I'd better research it and just remind myself of it all. I'd really been getting into it, you know. And last night, actually, my mate's going, right, we're off to the pub tonight, meaning tonight, and I went, yeah, that's great. And then I saw your message, and I thought, oh my God.
Well, I assume I got that right. For instance, Beyonce's "Sweet Dreams" video.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Well, Beyonce's "Sweet Dreams" is a classic of mind control, but it's also a classic where things can go, where perception of it can also go wrong. Just to add a bit of Occam's razor to it. I mean, most people view it as sexy or fashionable, but it does have an occult meaning. It's got hidden symbolism in it. The song's lyrics are references to dark themes. Possession, mind control, so it goes on. Actually, you know, Beyonce, one of my favourite artists. I actually know one of the dancers, the dancer on the left. That's my claim to fame. I've kind of like spoken to her and had a liaison with her. I don't mean a romantic one, but in the video, there's a stunning dancer on the left. She's very well known, and I've had a bit of a conversation with her now. You know, a dancer like that, because I'm into dancing and choreography, I'm having a bit of a midlife crisis and getting back into it again. But if you were to consult her with the fact that her posture resembled a mind-controlled monarch mannequin dummy, she'd look at you and go, what the hell are you talking about?
Are we talking about subliminal perception here?
Well, yes, it is subliminal perception, but there again, we hear Beyonce in the making of that video say that they'd gone through choreographic moves with Frank Gatson, and they thought that the posture of them with the hands on the hips. Some of the conspiracy theorists say, well, that is monarch symbolism, but others would say, no, it's as Beyonce said in the making of the video, it was them doing dance steps. They were improvising with some dance steps, and they came up with this smart move, as we'll see in the video, of hands on the hips. But what is interesting about the video is the pale horse that moves across from right to left when it starts up. I don't know whether you've noticed it on the video, but there is a horse that moves from I think from my right to left. Yeah, that's it, from right to left.
Yeah.
And it's symbolic. It's actually known in the occult as pale horse symbolism. And what is interesting about the pale horse symbolism stuff is it regularly appears in adverts in a similar format, where they've got a horse just appearing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's you know, the white horse is obviously a Christian symbol.
Yeah.
You know, but this is something else. This possibly means something to do with destruction and negativity. But there again, you see, the question is, the artist would probably not be aware of this, but somebody else is. The directors may be versed in the, you know, in the symbolism and so on and so forth. And and the video itself, Beyonce's Sweet Dreams, is like a. She did like an occult symbolic rebirth from somebody called Sasha Fierce to Beyonce. Or no, it was the other way around. She went from Beyonce to Sasha Fierce. There was, if you watch a number of pop artists, including Cheryl Cole, she did a similar thing on the cover of a magazine, where she changed the format to this covering a one eye, you know, kind of look. I was actually, and it's interesting to kind of like observe it, you know, I observe this as to what is going on, because I don't think it's a coincidence that this is happening. If you look at the pop band Jedward, they've done the old covering the one eye.
Do I have to?
Well, do you have to? But, I mean, more interestingly, there was a band on the X Factor who shall we name nameless. One of the girls was wearing a reverse cross dress. It was black with a reverse symboled cross.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is that young lady will probably have no idea what that is. No. However, somebody like myself who researches this has seen that very symbolism in pop videos by Michael Jackson and Christina Aguilera. The one by Michael Jackson in the Beat It video is particularly interesting in that the photo, when he's laid on the bed, the photo of the Virgin Mary is, I think, upside down, and the light shining through is a reverse cross symbol. It's very interesting that the very dark symbolism is there, and the term "beat it" isn't about being beaten up. I think I would recommend listeners to look at the research of Leonard Honor on that one. It's a bit deeper than just than beat it about somebody getting beaten up. It's actually not about that.
No.
You know, which is frightening.
Yeah. So maybe, as I say, is this similar to when you see adverts and say like people wearing not advertising them, but stuff that like Beckham would wear or something, but even though they're not advertising them, it plants it in your mind and everyone starts wearing it. Is that the sort of thing?
Yeah, there is, for example, a certain advert on the TV, which you see when you get to a certain state of spiritual awakening, and I don't mean this in a grandiose way either, it would appear that you start to see this symbolism in front of you.
Yeah.
You start to actually see it. There's an incident where there's a famous drinks advert. There's some symbolism in that represents horns. There was something on the X Factor a few years back where there's a whopping great big symbolism for horns, and you can't see it, but I could see it. It was there, the horn symbol. And this constant theme of this hidden symbolism, it appears quite disturbing, and it seems to be in the mainstream media pretty heavily. The drinks one in particular is interesting because the symbolism where they're putting their hands up in the air in a horn shape is also seen in other pop videos, and one in particular is Rihanna's Umbrella.
Yeah.
With Umbrella, there is, and it's been analysed as well, where she's in gold paint.
Yeah.
Is it gold paint? She's in paint, isn't she? A bit like James Bond, the Goldfinger thing. Yeah. And she's in a box with her arms outstretched. Now, what they've done is some of the guys who were pretty up on this research have worked out all the mathematical angles of her arms and all this kind of thing, and have concluded that they're not her arms. They've been actually done intentionally to mirror a symbolism. That when they put that symbolism over the top of Rihanna being in the box with her arms up in the air, sure enough, all is revealed. So there's this constant disturbing kind of symbolism that is going on. Even the bit where she's an ordinary girl in colour and suddenly she gets sprayed with kind of like white liquid, is symbolic. And, in my experiences at the height of my, in 2000, in my research and harassment, even when I was followed, this is how real it is. I got followed by a group of goons. One of them did something that was symbolism, that was esoteric. That was actually an esoteric gesture, and to the untrained eye, you wouldn't notice it in a million years. But she did do what she did, and that was to do with monarch programming, looking into a mirror. Long story, but she was looking back at me through a mirror, not directly at me, which is symbolic of something known as monarch programming, and that is, you know, something in Beyonce's Sweet Dreams, possibly, I do believe, and she's a fine artist. I'm a big fan of her music, but you know, in the video Sweet Dreams, she's lost in a fairy tale, and some researchers think that that means that a controller, a mind controller, is getting to hold her hand and be a guide, as the lyrics go, similar to the Wizard of Oz. I think there's another lyric in there that says clouds filled with stars cover the skies, hope it rains, and then I think she says you're the perfect lullaby. I've been researching all this.
Yeah.
And what we believe with that one is that there's some sort of trance going on there with this. You know, she's the perfect lullaby. She's falling asleep, because with mind control, the abuse can be you can be abused while being pleasured. It's extremely sinister.
Yeah, can I just say, have you seen the video of Wide Awake by Katy Perry?
No, I have not seen that one.
Everything you said is in it.
Is it?
At one point, she's actually seen sitting in a wheelchair, completely out of it.
Yeah.
There's a passageway with mirrors on both, all around it.
Yeah.
At one point, there's two men standing with horns on their head.
Oof.
And then butterflies, which is to do with Monarch as well. And a maze. It's all in that one video.
All in that one video.
Just about everything to do with Monarch programming.
It's extremely sinister what is going on. It is there. I was appalled, absolutely appalled, when I was doing the research on this, to see a BBC children's program. And I do believe with it, we'll have to be careful here.
Yeah.
But there was symbolism in it that was of a sexual nature. The subtext and the script was of kind of like a sexual nature, from what the researcher was saying, and I certainly concurred with that from what I was watching. I don't want to cause offence to your listeners, because it's not the watershed, but it really was, and it makes you think. It certainly does. You know, for example, in the Sweet Dreams video, where Beyonce says, "My guilty pleasure, I ain't going nowhere."
Yeah.
You know, I'll be here, I'll be floating on air. I think that's apparent in the lyric, that a guilty pleasure refers to the fact that she knows that it's a state of synthetic bliss that she's in.
Yeah.
And it's ultimately harmful. This is significant when subjects of Monarch programming get a feeling of lightheadedness, as if they're floating, according to research.
So when did all this start, with all this symbolism and stuff?
I think it possibly started. Symbolism, I'm not too sure, you know. I would say I'd have to go and have a look at that one, but we do know that there was individuals behind the scenes in the 1930s that were shaping all this, like Huxley, as an example, Aldous Huxley. There's Edward Bernays, who was the father of public relations, you know, who thought that the general population was irrational, and they needed there was actually a herd instinct mentality, and he actually believed that the population could be herded and manipulated. Another guy in America called Harold Laswell, who said this interesting quote, that when elites lack requisite force, a whole new technique is required to control the population through propaganda. So it's very interesting that as the human race awakens, you'll probably find this symbolism and subliminal stuff coming at people even more. And I think it's partly to do with the dumbing down of them. Some would argue that it's to do with fashion. If you look at some of the fashion magazines, they've got all this strange and weird symbolism with the one eye covered, and all this kind of thing. Esoterically, I think it means we approve of his undertaking on high. I think that's what it means. Right. The thing is when people are doing this, these pop stars, when they're doing all this symbolism bullshit, what they don't realise is whose undertaking on high are they undertaking? And that's where it gets extremely concerning.
Reiki Debs has said in the chat room, it's quite interesting mixing NLP, old MK Ultra, mind control stuff. She mentions the October Man sequence. I don't know what that's about.
No, I'm not familiar with that. Perhaps you can enlighten us on that one.
It's on the dollar notes in the US, you know.
Yes.
And some of the lyrics from Jay-Z and Kanye West Ghost Rider wants to know, what's your views on some of the adverts that have been put out? Is it just a way of getting us to buy the stuff? Is that what it's all about?
No, it isn't. If you have a look at, I think an interesting avenue to go down is I was speaking to a guy who's probably going to be on my radio show, who's a 32nd or was a 32nd degree Freemason, and he had a very responsible job. And he joined the Freemasons and made his way up to to one of the highest degrees, which is the 32nd degree, quite a high degree. And what he was saying was it was like being in a big boys' club at first, and then he said that they had all this symbolism and ritual that went on, and everybody has a right to do that. I'm not disagreeing with that, but he was saying that it was the slow negative effects that it had on his psyche that started to turn him into some kind of monster that he didn't recognize himself. And this is the kind of thing that's possibly happening with people. The subliminals that are being put into TV programs make people not care for each other, possibly make people turn to violence, making people do stupid things that they wouldn't normally do. And the symbolism appears there. And even, I recommend the work of Leonard Honor, because even on sweet wrappers and on products in general, there seems to be this disturbing trend of sexually abusive symbolism that's very carefully hidden. There was a thing that we put up on Facebook, which was a symbol of two children and a priest and a light switch. The light switch was in a very dubious place. It was put on somebody's Facebook page, and everybody didn't notice what was going on. They didn't notice the actual symbolism behind it.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. People don't know. They don't appear to be awake to what is going on, or are they? So you just don't know. There's quite a few in the pop industry who've spoken out against it.
I mean, I don't know if you know this, Tony, but the vast majority of what we watch, read, and listen to are owned by 5 corporations. Just 5.
Yes, they are. Yeah, no, that's absolutely spot on, mate. Yeah.
You've got AOL Time Warner.
Yes.
Viacom, Walt Disney.
Yes.
Vivendi, Universal, and Sony. They practically own every piece of music we listen to between them.
Yeah.
And obviously, the majority of the films and stuff. It's not just the names of these companies. You see, you forget what they actually own.
Yes, you do, matey. No, you do. And the thing is I think it's not right that we have all these, that we have 5 companies owning all the mainstream news. It's also not right that I have to listen to Russia Today to find out what exactly is going on in the world.
Yeah. Reiki Debs has come back and said it's to do with NLP and how these celebs name their children in all symbolism. Like for instance, Beyonce's is it Blue Ivy Carter or something? She said it's alter egos. Amy Winehouse, before her death, did an interview with Jonathan Ross, and he asked her if the people wanted to mould her. She said yes, they wanted me to be a triangle, and did the hand gesture of the pyramid. But I said no. A while after she was found dead. The interview is on YouTube. I don't know whether that's got any significance.
It's dreadful. When it gets to a certain level, I think it gets extremely disturbing and sinister. It's all right going on the internet about it, and Illuminati this and YouTube that, and we've got to stand up to them. Yeah. But you have to, I assure you, that you have to respect fire with them. If you play with fire, you must respect fire.
Yeah,
it really is that. They're not people to mess around with. They really aren't. You've got to respect that. And there's a number of pop artists. There's a symbol of an image of the singer Tara McDonald, for example, who's covering up her right eye. No, her left eye. And then once again in another clip, she's covering up her right eye, and then a left eye with bizarre symbolism. And it's this seeing eye symbolism that's constantly displayed in the media, and it's meant to be called fashion. I mean, for God's sake, we've got a French TV star who's called Nabella who's doing it in a photo.
Yeah.
Probably oblivious to what she's doing, but she's got the old one eye covered up again, which, from what I'm told, actually is obviously the cult of the all-seeing eye and represents the all-seeing female deity, or the intelligence that is actually controlling things,
Yeah.
I can't remember what this singer's name was, but she was a good singer. She used to wear an eye patch.
Gabrielle.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with her eye.
No.
Because later on she was seen without it.
Yeah.
There's that famous picture of Madonna wearing a leather jacket with Illuminati on it, isn't there, with a pyramid? You know, and the thing is, they have a right to express themselves if they think that's fashion. But good God, if you look at some of what's that Lady Gaga? I mean, good God, the symbolism in some of her videos is just absolutely unbelievable, and they're anti-Christian as well. You know, it seems. I think that it's extremely sinister.
So do they know what they're doing? You know, and what are they getting out of it? What do you think?
Well, I think that it's part of a higher campaign to dumb down human consciousness at one level.
Yeah.
I think at another level, for example, there's an artist called Azealia Banks. She did something called like a pop video called Young Rapunzel, I think it was called, and it's got this same old bullshit esoteric symbolism in it of the CNI, the covering the eye, esoteric symbols of Egypt and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's worrying. And another thing that's worrying as well, and it could be a coincidence, but in a lot of these pop artists, there are kind of like when they're on stage live, images of riot police, helicopters, sirens, all that kind of thing. Now, the untrained eye may think, well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of creative, but the trained eye who's seen all this behind the scenes will think, no, is this perhaps the dumbing down of the population to accept authority? You just don't know. You really didn't.
Well, there's a book out at the moment. I can't remember who wrote it, but it's called The Dumbing Down of America.
Yeah.
And Mickey Dead says, do you actually believe in the Illuminati, and do you think celebs are puppets for them?
Sorry, is that just a line drop then? Was that a question to me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Reiki Devs wants to know, do you think that do you actually believe in the Illuminati, and do you think that the celebs are puppets for them?
Yeah, the Illuminati Illuminati are a real organisation. They are a very real organisation, and just for pure entertainment purposes, I was speaking to a guy a few weeks ago who claimed to be involved in the Majestic organisation, one of the most famous organisations in history, Majestic 12, that is, or the Consistory as he calls it. And I had a very interesting chat with him, and he was talking about the Illuminati and the fact of how America's intelligence services are battling against them all the time. And also this guy who was the 32nd degree Mason gave a very revealing comment of the fact of how the Catholic Church utterly despised them. So there's this kind of, but yet the Catholic Church have Opus Dei as a secret society, don't they? Yeah. So there is this very real kind of unknown activity going on. It's like watching a football match. We can't see the ball, but we see the back of the net move when the goal is scored that indicates the existence of something causing it. Do you get my drift?
Yeah.
That seems to be what it is.
So no wonder Dan Brown is getting into trouble then.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if you have a look, for example, at the very famous interview that was done by Paolo Harris with Cardinal Vianucci, I think he was pronounced, and the Vatican, I mean, good God, they've got this massive library to do with the demonic and angels, and he was explaining in this interview, was this Cardinal, the difference between angels, demons, and aliens, you know, how they might perceive the world, and how the Vatican have got vast kind of books on it, on the subject. So there are esoteric mysteries that are occurring. I know some very freaky things have happened to me with it all, and it does exist.
Reiki Dev says there's an undercover war going on between all the secret organisations for a new world order, for ultimate control. Do you believe that?
Well, yeah. I mean, yes. Well, you see, what they forget is the new world order, ultimate control. What they have forgotten is the fact that some governments out there have a very cosy liaison with intelligences that are off-world, and it's a technological liaison, and that seems to greatly throw a spanner in the works of any campaign to perform a new world order. And I think that I've got to say this, but I think elements of the US government especially are fully aware of what the new world order is and what the driving agenda behind it is. Russia, for example, actually the Russian intelligence service, the FSB, actually studied the Illuminati as a matter of national security. What is the organization? What does it do? Where's it heading for? How will it affect Russia? There's an interview on YouTube from a Russian general. It's 6 episodes. I've forgotten its name, but I think it was the GRU, which is the Russian military intelligence, explaining how the Illuminati came about from ancient Egypt and how it controls situations. Russia, as I say, looked at it as a matter of national security regarding the Illuminati and what they were up to.
Wow. So what do you think will happen if we get involved in all this, if we get mind controlled?
Well, I think personally that is not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think that it'll happen. I don't think the wealthy will want their minds taken over by a sinister force. I think as soon as it affects those who have wealth, that's when things will start to change. At the moment, it's all moving and manoeuvring around the working and middle classes. When it starts affecting the wealthy people, the real mega wealthy people who are currently in charge of society, I think they'll be in for a very big spiritual awakening. Already, for example, we've got the Georgia Guide stones, haven't we, that talk about those stones that talk about population control. That does appear to be happening, and I don't think it's very good at all, that.
No.
While I was looking into some of these things with this, I found something of a flicker rate on TVs and computers.
Yes.
The flicker rate test shows that alpha brainwaves are altered, producing a type of hypnosis. And now with the revolution that lights can transmit data by flickering faster than the eye can see, it makes you wonder exactly what we're being told.
Yeah, it does make you wonder.
Because although our eyes are not picking it up, subliminally our brains are.
It's just, sorry, the line just went dead. Could you just say that again?
It makes you wonder what we're being told, because although our eyes can't see it because the flicker rate's so fast, our brains are still picking it up.
Yeah, they are, and it's very sinister. It's this constant theme of seeing the net move, but not seeing the football, not seeing the root cause of it. But we can see all around us something going on, but we're not too sure of what it is, and that's kind of like pretty sinister. But as I say, you must respect fire with these people. You really must. But there again, they have to learn that this is not their earth to mess around with. Not their earth to mess around with.
I don't know whether this is a statement or a question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Deb says, if they have such a strong religious drive, how can they still believe in outer world entities?
That's a very You're thinking that they're human beings, aren't you? You're thinking that this is the action of human beings, and some of the leading researchers who really dig down into this conclude that it's not a human intelligence that is causing all this. It's something very, very clever. Yeah. For example, I know Nick Redfern, I keep quoting this, but he did some excellent work on an organisation called the Collins Elite, and the Collins Elite were kind of like around when Majestic 12 was around. And the Collins Elite assessed correctly that possible root cause of UFOs was portals being opened by symbolism, by esoteric ritual, and so on and so forth. And their conclusion that they termed this breach into our human realm as non-human entities, or jinn even. The Islamists may call it the jinn. But they termed it a non-human entity, or NHE. Yeah. So the first thing you've got to realise is that we're looking at the actions of something that may not be human at the very highest level.
Do you think it is?
I conclude that. Yeah, I conclude we're looking at something that isn't human at the very highest level, that's been around us for centuries and is ancient as the day is long. And this has been with us. How it got here. It's not so much the fact of it existed, it's how it got here and the why, I think, are the crucial questions to ask. If you look at some of these people who are on television and they say that they've had alien, including myself, they've had alien interaction, UFOs, this, that and the other, but yet they can't seem to piece it together. I think it's because it's not about them, it's about something observing through them. And I think once you remove yourself out of the equation, you can see very clearly, a lot more clearly, what's going on. Because,
I are we saying that then it's not the Illuminati because they were found to be humans in 1776?
No, the Illuminati. No, that's the.
That's what I'm quoting here. So
yeah, no, that's Westinghouse, isn't it? No, that's the. I forgot how to pronounce it again. That's no. The Illuminati go further than that. They go back into ancient Egypt. The thing is that they are. How can I put it? The symbolism, for example, that we see around us is highly complex, leading to possible portals and gates that open into another world of it, an off-world intelligence that controls human events. Yeah. I don't think, for example, that World War II and Adolf Hitler was an entirely human thing. I think there's a possibility that Hitler had some kind of walk-in going on around him that was controlling events from behind the scenes. It's a very different world, but I think that is what is happening. The Illuminati and such like are controlled by some kind of intelligent force that has been hidden from human view for centuries and centuries.
Bloody hell. So how can we deal with it? What's your research on this? Where does it go in?
Well, it seems to me. I mean, what always strikes me is the words of the abduction researcher Dr. Carla Turner, who I think, and Rupert Sheldrake as well, the work of the biologist Rupert Sheldrake, where you have a monkey in an island somewhere that learns how to crack open a nut, and a monkey 12,000 miles away in another island adopts the same behaviour while not seeing the other monkey doing it, and it spreads throughout the species, which he called morphic resonance. Yeah. And I think that, as Dr. Carla Turner says, I do believe that there is some kind of species biology adjustments within the human mind, an adjustment that we're not aware of as human beings, but it is going on by some kind of grand design that is making us aware of this reality. It is making us aware of what is happening in order to tackle it. How we tackle it, I'm not sure. But the observation is apparent to me that the species is kind of like the human species is being somehow biologically adjusted over time to handle this.
Yeah. So, am I right in thinking that at the moment, for the middle class, for want of a word, that most of these this pulp culture is more to do with the fact of getting people to buy stuff?
Yeah, that would be their perception. It's A, getting people to buy stuff, and B, it's dumbing down the population, making it violent, making it subservient, and making it non-awake to the enlightened consciousness that's actually out there. There is within you and there is within me a connection to the cosmos that we can tap into. That's kind of like orgasmic, frankly.
Yeah.
And they've gone to. What is fascinating during the course of my research is they've gone to a lot of trouble and a lot of time to make sure that this was dumbed down. And I don't know the reason why for that, but they are controlling the world's wealth, for example. That's one thing they are doing. But I mean, for example, just to throw it into the mix, the city of London in Roman times was separate from the main city of London, even in Roman times.
Yeah.
You can't help but thinking when they separated off the city that the agenda was even being planned back then.
How do you get time to do all these subjects, Tony?
Well, I'm a professional at it now. This is kind of like a full-time job.
You go on your website and there's everything there.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome, isn't it? It's awesome,
say,
my
you're
website.
You're not actually saying that ETs are trying to control the wealth, are you?
Sorry, we're not saying what, mate?
That ETs are trying to control the wealth.
No. What I'm saying is that a very ancient force that isn't human, you could call it ET, has been around for centuries, is controlling events. It is their domain. And as I say, once again, with all this, you have to respect fire.
Yeah.
You have to respect fire. With them, you can't. It's a very strange thing, but you just have to respect fire with them, as far as I'm concerned. But there are intelligences out there. There are parallel universes. There are converging timelines. It is a reality. It's just a matter of what does that mean to our daily lives when you're trying to pay the electric bill. Yeah. What does it mean? And I think Master Yoda in Star Wars with his cooking pot, where he's stirring his little cooking pot, he's got all that power, but he's focusing on stirring his cooking pot and living a normal life is probably the best things we could all do.
Yeah. You mentioned Nick Redfern. We've got him on in a couple of weeks' time, actually.
Oh, he's absolutely incredible. You know, he's one hell of a researcher.
And you mentioned the gin, and last week we spoke to an American lady, Rosemary Ellen Gwilly.
Yes, Rosemary. Yep.
Yeah, and she was talking about the gin and everything, and thinks that maybe that's the reason for all the paranormal, the ETs, everything.
Yes, there's some people who do think that, but it can be assured from my own experiences that extraterrestrial intelligence does exist. They are people like me and you, and it becomes, after a while, and I've had to deal with it for years, it becomes normal. Very normalising. It's quite odd, but they're there. They're definitely out there. We're not alone. Our governments are aware of it fully. You only have to look at some of the NASA radio transmissions to see that NASA, for example, are fully aware that we're not alone. Just fully aware that these intelligences are out there, and they're not just intelligences. They're people like me and you, but they look a bit different.
Yeah.
And they're just maybe a bit more intelligent with their technology. You know.
Ghost Rider mentions that what he found weird was Michael Jackson's funeral. There was a man sitting in the chair who looked like Michael Jackson from Ghost music video, whatever that was about.
Bloody hell, really?
Yeah.
That's really weird, you know. That's like that. That reminds me of that photo that was taken at a probe conference where there was one of the speakers speaking, and sat behind him, and it didn't show up until the photo was taken. Sat behind him was a guy in like a chair with an oxygen mask on his face.
Yeah.
Most bizarre photo it was, and it was as if he was sat there listening to the lecture, and one wonders if it was some sort of time traveller, you know.
Debs has asked, why would they want wealth when that's a human greed?
Is it a human greed? That's the thing. You see, we don't. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, she could be right, but I'm not sure if it is a human thing or whether it's something else that we're looking at that's acquiring all this. I mean, how much wealth do you need? You know, but we see the mind control at the moment going on around us and the technology to deliver it, and I find it all very sinister. Especially when you watch the actions of governments. I mean, for example, we have one minister today saying that the bedroom tax is a success. Is he a psychopath? Is somebody kind of like controlling?
Don't talk to me about bedroom tax. I've got to downsize.
Yeah, exactly. Is there some controlling force that's making them do all this bullshit towards people? And it's getting worse, not getting any better.
Controlling force that tell them to get rid of it.
I mean, the only thing I can think of about when it comes to money is that in this world, as we know it, money is power.
Yeah, it is power.
It is.
You know, and I'm not very happy with the government as it is.
No.
So
no,
I want
exactly.
aliens to come down and take them away.
Yeah. It's absolutely you know, it's absolutely unbelievable what their opinions are. These people in the UFOs of our affairs. It's quite surreal, but that's for another time and another day. But it's quite surreal as to how they view us. There is definitely a hand manipulating human affairs.
Yeah,
definitely so.
You know, but as I say, there's quite a few topics that you actually cover, don't you?
Well, we do the remote viewing, which
yes.
I'm obviously pretty good at. This is a little sideline thing. Is this pop symbolism thing? It's the first time I've really kind of like commented on it. But we cover all the. I do the Tony Topping show as well. I've got my own radio show.
Right.
And we've had the most fascinating guests on there, from Steve Johnson, who's a psychic, who accurately predicts incidents. He really is something else. We interviewed Miles Johnston recently today, who came out with some revelations on something he was looking at to do with petroleum. The fact that he was talking about this fascinating story of this black goo that was discovered in the Falklands. And from the Falklands it was then taken to Marconi. And what was happening there, so Miles said, is that this fluid was actually intelligent. For example, if anybody came near it, it became aware of somebody near it, and it adopted accordingly. Yeah. And I understand from what Miles was telling me is that it cracked quite a few people up. And the story is that Miles had a call from a Russian businessman who indicated that Iran has got some of this stuff, and they don't know what the hell to do with it because it seemingly affects the ordinary petrol. It looks like petrol, but it isn't. and it seemingly affects it in such a way that it seems to clean petrol and make it cleaner and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And the thing is, from what Miles was telling me, this Russian businessman had a communication with this fluid because the fluid was intelligence in some way, intelligent in a way that we could not understand. So he was one of the fascinating guests that I had on. Steve Johnson, of course, was amazing. A guy called Carl Nally. Get him on your show. He's Ireland's top UFO researcher, and oh my God, what was happening near Dublin Airport and cattle mutilations in Ireland.
Really?
But just unbelievable.
You'll have to send me a list of these people.
I will, love, I will. I'll send you a list.
When do you do your show then, Tony?
Well, at the moment, my show, there's no set time for it just at the moment. I'm just putting them up on YouTube because I'm that busy. So I interview one guest a week.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like, at the moment, I was on Blog Talk, but I just interview one guest a week and then I'll upload that to my YouTube channel.
It's a bit like a podcast for you.
Yeah, it's a bit like a podcast. Just put it up on, I put it up on YouTube. And they seem to be going down extremely well with people, and I specialise in getting guests that don't normally talk.
Yeah.
To media like us.
Yeah, yeah. Ghost Rider would like to know: do you think that the government, hold on, it just jumped up, is doing a huge cover-up? As on the news recently, Ministry of Defence has closed down its section due to few UFO reports.
Yeah, well, no, the Ministry of Defence have closed it down because they have enough data now about what UFOs are all about and the fact that we're having visitation. It's that simple. It's that normal.
Yeah.
That's why they've closed it down, because their military data tells them more than what the public is submitting to them. So that's the inside track, I think, on it. I don't think it's to do with they know what's going on. They don't need any more reports because they're fully aware that we're having visitation.
But as I say, with much of the reports that I've seen on my news feeds, they're all much of a muchness, aren't they? So if they're getting similar sort of things,
yes,
there's nothing new, is there really?
No, there's nothing new. You need to watch out for the whistleblowers who suddenly appear, who have been dealing with UFOs, who start talking about parallel universes and multiple timelines, and possible ETs with diseases, genetic diseases and that kind of thing. Anybody who starts talking of stuff like that, I'd recommend your listeners just have a listen to, because they're probably in the know on it all.
Yeah.
Because, the UFO situation and liaison with who's there inside them, the people involved in them, it just is far removed from what's written about on the internet.
Yeah.
What goes on with them, and what happens and what's portrayed on the TV about them are two entirely different things altogether.
So do you think that people like Eric von Daniken are actually right when they say that we actually carry ET DNA in our bodies anyway?
Yes, absolutely is. Yes, there is a link to ancient aliens. There certainly is. That there's a link to ancient aliens. What staggers me about all this is how the authorities and the human race, but there could be a non-human hand involved, have kept this all quiet, kept it out of public view. And they have done. And I, during the course of my UFO experiences, I filmed a UFO over Chester about 4 weeks ago. Pure white in colour, came in low over the house at about 1,000 feet. And it just flew over. And it was pure white. Now, I've never seen them in a pure white formation before. But, we had a little conversation as it flew over and it went on its way. And that conversation was quite normal. And now you wonder, is it some kind of black ops military craft? Am I going bonkers? Is it an atmospheric anomaly? Or is it what it is, quite a normal interaction with something that is not of this world?
Yeah.
The question.
It does. It does. But as I say, you're doing this full time now.
Yeah, I'm more or less doing it full time, and
So you haven't got a day job.
No, I haven't. No, I'm not at the moment. No, I'm doing this all full time. My seminars that are coming up and all that kind of thing. I've not got a day job anymore. No, I did have a very responsible job.
Yeah.
which I buzzed off a great deal, actually. I found it absolutely super. But the ambition is to get into mainstream television, become a presenter, possibly get broadcasting, do a few TV ideas that I want to present, and get into that. That's the ambition ultimately.
Right. So obviously you get paid for these seminars and that.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yes, I don't do anything for nothing. I mean, if a production company or a television company want me, they don't get me for nothing.
No.
Because you have to have your head screwed on. And also, if you offer your services for nothing, you're not respected.
No.
So you don't offer your services for nothing.
You don't want to be used, do you?
Yeah, that's it. But I've some very good people behind the scenes who make sure that I'm just doing the right thing, because I can be a bit soft-hearted. Do you know what I'm saying?
You sound like you're that sort of person.
I am. I can be very soft-hearted, and as a result of that, I can get walked on. So I have to make sure that I've got my seminars coming up. I've got a book to write. Lord only knows where it's leading to, but it's leading somewhere.
Yeah. So is this book going to be about you and your life?
Yeah, it is. I think we're going to do one book to do with remote viewing. In a world of terror, psychic espionage and intelligence in a world that's dominated by terrorists is one project, and the other book I was going to call it "Seeing the Fast Walker."
Yeah.
But I've changed the title now to "I Encountered Aliens," which I think is going to be the title of my book. I Encountered Aliens. I think we'll probably end up getting it bloody denoticed, because some of the stuff I'll probably write in it is going to be unbelievable about what goes on, because, as I say, it bears no resemblance to what some researchers will write about, and it goes beyond the usual muchness of Mr. So-and-so saw a bright light in the sky.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, I sort of watched a recent alien abductee thing, I think it was, on Channel 4.
That's
recently.
the one.
Yeah.
And
some of the people on there, I think, you were on that one, weren't you?
I wasn't.
You wasn't?
I was approached by a different production company on behalf of Channel 4 to do a project at the same time.
Right.
And then
I thought I saw you sitting in a cab or something.
No, lovely. Unless there's some clip that you've seen that I haven't.
Right.
But
unless it was another program.
It probably was. But I was approached by a different production company. Actually, I was approached by the guy who does An Idiot Abroad. Actually, is who I was approached by.
Yeah, there was about 5 or 6 of you in that program, weren't there? Is that right?
I wasn't on that program to do with the Channel 4. Was not nothing to do with
BBC
me.
One, wasn't it? The 7/7 one or something.
Oh, the 7/7 one is a different. I mean, since then I've been on this morning. I've done stuff for the BBC and Channel 5.
That one we saw the other week.
Sasha was on it.
Sasha was on it.
Yeah.
Sasha Christie.
Yeah.
But there was one guy on it. There was a Labour MP or something.
Yes.
Oh God, I'm not sure. What did you think of his story?
Well, it's something that I would wish to professionally distance myself from.
Right.
I have reasons for professionally distancing myself from the program and adding any further comment to it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I must admit,
I'm going down a specific editorial direction.
Channel 4, I do find, are a bit like BBC 3. They have a bit of a weirdness on them, don't they?
Well, yes, but from what this guy was telling me, who does the Idiot Abroad stuff for Sky, who does all the stuff with Ricky Gervais and Carl Pilkington, he was he was speaking to the commissioning team, and he was speaking to the factual people, not the entertainment people. This is insider information here I'm talking, but he was speaking to the factual department who wanted to do something cracking on UFOs. But I think the entertainment people obviously got in first. But so that was all going to happen, and then unfortunately it just all fell through because I think Channel 4 didn't want to spend too much money on 2 projects.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Well, but there was going to be a project regarding me and all this, but it didn't quite work out.
Well, from a couple of items that were on there, apart from this Labour guy, there was a woman that was on a lie detector and she fouled.
There was.
Yeah, and there was a woman that said that after she had a KFC, she was abducted.
Yes.
Every time she has KFC, I'm a little bit worried now.
This is right. Miles Johnson gives a revealing interview on all that. He was a bit displeased with all that from the interview I had with him today. That's going to be the Miles Johnson interview is going to be uploaded to my YouTube channel in the next once I finish this program with you.
Yeah.
But yes, there seems to be a lot going on where they've been. Where they've walked into Cooksville, where the production staff have cooped them up and made them look rather comical, which is a damn shame.
It is really.
Because if you listen to Chantel or Maria at depth, if I interviewed them for over an hour, I bet they'd come out with some staggering stuff over what's happened to them.
Yeah.
I mean, the program seems like something out of the Sunday Sport, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tabloid journalistic type TV. You know, mainstream tabloid stuff. Although Miles' perception of it was that it was a success.
Yeah.
In certain ways, he said it was a success. You know, I'm not going to comment further on the matter. It's just that when my time comes to do it, I think mine's going to be like something that's never been quite done before.
Well, Tony, I wish you all the best of luck with your future endeavours, darling.
Certainly. Thank you.
And I'll let you get off.
All right.
Yeah. All right, my darling.
Can you send us the link for your
send
blog?
us a link for your what was it? Your course, yeah?
I will. I'll send you. What I'll do is I'll send you an email about it. I need to just get the venue in Manchester sorted.
And also, if you want to put your blog onto the page, we'll advertise it for you. Yeah.
Lovely.
So people can go and have a look. And
Lovely.
As I say, you heard it from Tony. If you want to go to this seminar that's in Manchester, just mention KTPF on the door, and you can get in for £15
less
discount.
You can, yes. If you mention KTPF, you will get in for. I'll knock you 15 quid off.
There you go. And
but don't go broadcasting that to everyone.
And it's £50 altogether. Normally, isn't it?
You what, lovey? Sorry.
Did you say it was £50 normally?
Yes, normally it's £50, and considering some courses are charging 3,000 to 500.
Yeah.
My little seminar is just ideal.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, my darling. It's been lovely talking to you as always.
No problems.
All
and
right.
I'll obviously we'll get this downloaded as an MP3 when it's uploaded to your site.
Yeah, and don't forget, don't stay away too long.
Thank you, my love.
All right, take care.
Cheers
Tony.
now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was Tony Toppin talking to us.
What's this called?
Remote viewing?
Yeah, remote viewing.
Yeah. And basically, we always like having Tony on, don't we? Tony's good. He covers a vast range of topics, and he's always got something interesting to say. And he calls me Chuckles. I've never been called Chuckles before. You know.
You've been called Chicken.
I've been called Chicken. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. So, but as I say, he's started on this this pop culture thing, hasn't he? So, it's a new one for him that he's been getting his teeth into. But he does cover quite a few things. So, you know, but yeah. Now, in a moment, what we're going to do is we're going to speak to John, Ghost Rider 2873, and he's going to talk to us about investigations he's been on and about a group that he was with, not mentioning any names, and what he thought of them. Okay, and you know, so what I'm going to do is I should be playing a word from our sponsor.
You should.
So shall I, or should I just go straight into the events?
Go into the events. We'll do a sponsor later.
Yeah, we'll add it later. We're hoping, to be honest with you.
Remember, don't play the events because I've got to read them.
Okay, right, but
Just played a bit before.
I must admit though, I'm waiting for a thing from. We wanted to talk about it. Hey, Corey wanted to talk power. Oh yeah. We're not playing that because soon I'll put it on the end of the podcast. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
but what I'm going to do is as soon as we get it, we're getting an advert from Pigs, aren't we, for their ghost store?
Yes.
They're supposed to be putting one together, so that will be coming in somewhere along the line. But until then, we're going to send you over to Steve in a moment.
Oh yeah.
So I'll speak to you in a bit.
We've got all the news right here. Don't go away.
Fed up of wading through the activities and events that other advertisers include? Find just what you're looking for at paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory.
And here we go. On the 26th of July, Grave Encounters are doing a ghost hunt and supper at the Skirrid Inn in Wales. Also on the 26th, Twilight Paranormal are off to Alton Towers in Staffordshire. On the 27th, Haunted Places Paranormal are going to Kelvedon Hatch in Brentwood. On the 9th of August, Wasp Paranormal are also going to Kelvedon Hatch, once again in Brentwood. On the 10th of August, Twilight Paranormal are off to Thackeray Medical Museum in Leeds. How can I not say that word? On the 17th of August, UK Shadow Seekers are going to York Castle Museum. And on the weekend of the 24th, there's a Mind, Body and Spirit at Elscar in Barnsley. On the weekend of the 31st of August, there's another Mind, Body and Spirit in Godmanchester in Cambridgeshire. Here we go, that's it for this week. Hit the button.
So check out the one-stop paranormal directory for more investigations and events, available now. Paranormaleventsforyou.com also offers banner advertising for only £10 per year. See our website for more details. Paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory.
I think if you're going to do that on a regular basis, I'm going to have to untie my tongue, and you're going to have that ready.
Yeah. I don't know. So, just to recap on a few things, yeah?
Yes, when is Andy coming on with his JFK?
End of the month.
End of the month.
I've got to find my diary. I don't know where it's gone. So, we were talking earlier, Andy, that we're having a break soon after your one, because I think you're after Nick Redfern, and he's doing podcasts like John was saying about us.
Yeah,
that's what he was saying.
Yeah, we've been asked about doing podcasts, and
yeah.
At the moment, the people that are coming into the chat room are getting very few and far between.
Yes,
we do love doing it.
We do actually think that,
but in some cases,
we think there's another program, don't we? That
they're doing similar things.
They're doing similar things a bit close to our night, so that's just started up.
And also, it did seem that with a lot of people, if it wasn't about ghosts, they weren't interested.
Yeah, I must admit.
Which is a shame.
Which is a shame.
The paranormal's not just about ghosts.
I'll finally be able to tune in from 8 p.m. in August. That sounds good. Good.
And although we say we are taking a break, we're not going to be gone forever.
Can I just ask, is my doctor's case still in the car? Have you emptied the car?
I've emptied the car.
You have?
I have.
Right.
It's probably in spare. I should go look for you.
You look, I'll talk, or I'll try to.
You keep talking.
Okay. So basically, we've decided to have a break. I'll tell you what it is. Then I'll be gone in September. What do you mean you'll be gone in September? Where are you going? You can't do that. I don't know. He's going somewhere. But you just said you'll be taking a break. How long? Right. Basically, because of my health of late, and I've got a lot of hospital appointments coming up. Yeah. Right. We've decided to have about at least a month off. Yeah. And then obviously we won't be too far away. We'll be around, and we might do the one-off one. You know, mightn't we? And maybe once a month, change the day maybe, because as I say, there is another one that's just started up that's doing exactly the same as us, and also having some of our old guests on as well, talking about the same things. But as I say, it's I'll be snowed under with study. That means we're going to lose Andy. And as you can see, the numbers have dwindled. Who are they? I don't really want to say. but yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to we're going to take a break because obviously, you know, I mean, it's not just this, it's even with paranormal investigating, I'm taking a bit of a break, because I need to sort out my health a bit.
Well, you're still doing it. You just letting other people take the lead for a change.
Yeah, as I say, because at the moment, I've got post-stroke fatigue, so I've got to sort my life out and try and relax a bit more. But so we're going to have a couple of more shows. We're not here next week. Okay, I'm going away for a convalescent. And then the week after that, we've got Nick Redfern. And then the week after that, we've got Andy Mercer.
Yay.
Yay.
I found a nice page on JFK.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So at least I'll be able to ask them about it.
Nor me, actually, next week. No, because it's your missus's birthday. So see, it works out for you as well.
Wife's birthday.
So, but even though we will be away, what we're going to try and do is do some interviews and put it out as a podcast every so often. But we'll keep you posted. We'll still be around on Facebook, and we'll let you know when we come back again. And not only that, we can't put John out of a job because he's our sound master.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear you're unwell, Suze.
He thinks he's going to be made
redundant. Thanks a lot, Andy. He does think he's going to be made redundant. But we're going to talk to John now. I'm going to give him a ring.
Oh, while you do that, I'm going to leave my glass.
Okie dokie. Do you want to let the dog out as well? Or open the door? All right then. See, the perks of being at home when you're doing interviews and stuff. Right, let's call John.
Hello, good evening.
Oh my God, John. You're going to have to turn something down, you
are.
are.
Very loud at his end.
He is very loud. You're too high, it keeps saying to me. Right, okay. Speak to me, John.
Good evening.
Make it September. Ouch, deaf now. See, even Andy's deaf. Right, now then, John's been wanting to come on for quite some time to talk to us about his opinion on some groups, you know, and stuff like this, and some places that he's been to. Is that right, John?
That's correct.
Right, okay. Now, John, when did you start doing investigating?
Basically, I started doing investigating last year. My first investigations were with your group,
right.
Which I found very interesting. And basically, I wanted to do some more, but a bit closer to home.
Yeah, because he's in Norwich and we're in Manchester.
Yep. So basically, I set up a Facebook page, and then I was contacted by another group in my area who asked me to come along and join their team.
Okay.
But basically, I just want to say what interested me in it in the first place, if that's okay, before I let you know about this group.
Go on then.
Basically, my first experiencing of paranormal things was basically when I was 5, 6 years old, and I was living with Mum in London. And my uncle used to visit every weekend and stop there. And they used to have a little party trick that they used to do, which was chuck a tobacco tin in the hallway, and it used to come back into the lounge. Me being at that age, I kept going into the hallway to see if anyone else was in there, but there was no one there. And basically that's what's interested me ever since.
Right.
And then things didn't work out at home, and I was fostered. And in 1996, I was on a bus going back to my foster parents, and my foster father got on the bus, sat next to me, and said, can you stop round a friend's tonight, because Vi ain't very well. That was the name of my foster mum, and I'm not there. So basically, I went round to my mum's, and she told me that she'd had a phone call at 10 o'clock, which is about roughly the same time as I saw George on the bus, to say that George had passed away at home.
Oh.
It was a bit of a hairs on the back of my neck moment when my mum told me that.
Yeah.
And basically I went to, a few spiritualist churches which I didn't like, because basically I was, invited to join the circle because they told me I had medium powers, and basically I left going to the church. I started watching a popular TV show, which interested me into more programs that were being aired later on. And then I, thought about going, on an investigation myself. And it was quite weird because my wife Vicky was looking for her family, so I put an ad on Facebook. About 3 weeks later, she got an email from yourselves.
Yeah.
And
we were doing investigations. So, for those of you who don't know, I hadn't seen my sister for 20 odd years. So we found each other. So you started coming on investigations, and then, as you say, you met this other group locally.
Yeah. And basically, I was in email contact with the founder of this group where I live, who basically said, "Oh, what experience have you got?" And I said, "Well, I'm not very experienced, but I've been on investigations with family in Manchester." And he said, "Well, would you like to be a team member?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll come along." We had our first meeting, and exactly, when the meeting finished, he crammed 11 of us into a 6-seater car.
Bloody hell.
And took us to a church. And basically we was walking around. People were all flashing their cameras off, which, was blinding to me and other members that were there. And the first thing that started to ring alarm bells was, everyone that was at the investigation was all sensitive, shall we say, was the word they used.
Yeah.
And basically they were all picking up various things. And basically I said to, because I had one of my friends come along as well because he was interested in paranormal things, and he came along and he went, when we got home, he said, there's something not right about that group. And, joking, we said, well, it was a bit like watching a program on TV, basically. We didn't experience anything ourselves, but everyone else in the group was. And from going on investigations with yourselves, it was mentioned, don't feel like you're being silly, just mention whatever comes into your head. And basically I wasn't picking up anything. I don't claim to be a medium, but I wasn't picking up anything with that group. Unlike an investigation that I went along with yourselves to, I was telling Steve, a week beforehand, I was having dreams of a young boy who was showing me a green bus, and then I was seeing heartbeat, and then we went to the Manchester Transport Museum, and I mentioned to Steve about the dreams that I'd had, and just out of, my curiosity, I asked one of the employees there, does any of the buses have anything to do with heartbeat? And he said, yeah, well, we've got this bus here that was actually a hippie bus on one of the programs. To me, that was the proof that I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, when I got back to Norwich, I was asked to go on to a private investigation at one of the group members' friend's house.
Uh-huh.
And basically I went along with them, along with my other friend, and we were split into two teams, and the coordinator of the group said to me, I want to see what you're like, as a lead investigator. I want you to take one of the group and I'll take members into my group. And I said, yeah, that's fine. And he said, at the end of the investigation, I'll ask everyone's input of what they thought of you as a team leader. But all through the investigation, he was off doing his thing, we was off doing ours, and then it was like every 10 minutes he was coming in and, taking people in my group away, and then they were coming back. But we was in one of the bedrooms, and basically there was a wooden bed, and they were asking like for tapping and other stuff, and we was getting tapping and that. But to me, it was like it was one of the members that was in the group,
yeah,
that was actually doing the tapping,
yeah,
and I actually said to one of the owners of the house, I said, have you had anyone here that's actually, used drugs or anything? Because I've got like a pain in my arm, as if a needle stuck there. And one of the members of the group turned around and said, well, you could have heard us discussing this earlier on when you was doing the base readings.
Yeah.
And I felt at that stage that it was I was getting like negative comments and stuff. I came home, I sent an email to the founder of the group and said, what did you think? And basically he said, oh, I'll find out from the team members to see how they got on with you.
Mm-hmm.
Then the team disbanded.
Yeah.
And basically I got an email to say that the group was no longer going. And a couple of weeks afterwards, they started up under a different name.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think that the main problem was they'd watched too many of these, paranormal programs on TV. And that was where they were getting their ideas from.
Yeah. Yeah, I must admit, from the stories you were telling me, they didn't seem a good group.
No.
Right. Talking about the Museum of Transport, yeah? Do you remember somebody coming on with a laser pen?
Yes.
Right. Well, we had a bit of
I
nastiness on that one.
Yeah, because basically I was in Steve's group.
Yeah.
And we basically went into one of the rooms that was basically replicated as an office.
Mm.
And she just kept shining a laser pen into, paying guests' eyes, our eyes as well. And we said, laser pens are dangerous.
Well, funny you should say that, because I was watching Fake Britain last night on BBC One. And they were talking about these laser pens. I don't know whether anybody saw it or not, but they're actually being sold on eBay and that, and they're fake. They've got fake stickers on, because apparently, if you're in the UK, they must be less than 1 milliwatt. Yeah, anything over that is illegal. And they were saying that they had these. I don't know where mine is at the moment. Steve was just trying to look for it. So we'll better get that back then. And basically, they were saying, weren't they, Steve, that they've been having people shine it up in the air, and it's been causing problems with the air ambulances, wasn't it? And stuff like that.
One young lad with his friends, they just did it as a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it had the label on it, everything. It's supposed to be 1 milligram and everything else.
Milliwatt.
And he shined it in his eye, and it actually burned.
Yeah.
The middle of his eye.
Yeah, and they are dangerous. I have got one, and if you turn it round, it makes nice, pretty patterns. But if you have got one of these, please check if you've got it from eBay or anywhere like that. Please check. They're saying check, not just with these. They even mentioned replacement laptop cables. Yeah, check the wording on them. If it doesn't sound right, if it doesn't look right,
the one I've got here.
This is a replacement one we bought a while ago.
It actually says, warning, this device may not interfere may not cause harmful interference. 2. This device must accept any interference received, including interference that may be considered operation.
Yeah, so check the wording.
It doesn't make sense.
Check the wording. If it doesn't make sense,
or it's spelt wrong,
it does get quite hot. You know, just check it, because like things might say made in Taiwan or made in Japan, but instead of made in, as in two separate words, it might just say made in. You know, so you need to check it, because with the laptop recharger charger, one guy plugged it in and got an electric shock.
No, it's not just that.
And he was burnt.
It actually blew up.
Yeah, it blew up.
A piece of plastic actually burnt through his tie.
Yeah.
And through his shirt and actually caused his skin.
So you need to be really, really careful out there. So if you've got one of these laser pens off eBay, check the wording on the sticker on it. It should have a sticker, and it should be less than 1 milliwatt. Okay.
I think the trouble is, it's it's the same, with clothing and toys and stuff. There's a lot of counterfeit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but the reason why I mentioned the laser pens is because at the end of the day, and laptops, we do use them for investigation.
Apart from anything else, a counterfeit pair of jeans isn't going to kill you.
No, a counterfeit pair of jeans isn't going to kill you. But you know what I mean. But things like this, and things that can be dangerous, like a laser pen. As I say, they've been shining it up in the air, and I know that you can use these for shining them up in the sky for ufology. I think they use them for, you know what I mean, stuff like that, pointing out certain stars and that.
They actually had one that was supposed to be 1 milliwatt.
1 milliwatt.
It ended up being 300.
300. So if you can imagine that being shined on you. So please be careful what you buy. It could have actually
been used as a weapon. If you hold it close to the skin, it would have burned the skin off your arm.
Yeah, that's what they said. So please, when you're buying this stuff off eBay or anywhere like that, not saying everyone does, but
check it.
Just check it, just check the wording and everything, nothing against eBay or whoever else there is, Gumtree or whatever.
I mean, even with the laser thermometers, when we're showing people how to use them, the first thing we say is don't shine it at people's eyes or the cameras. Either keep it very high above people's heads or below. Get it nowhere near people's eyes.
I've hardly used mine, actually. I originally bought it for Drakelow to shine up the tunnel just to see whether the net would be what's named, but since then we've not done Drakelow.
You haven't gone back, have you?
So
I mean, that's what I like about your group, because you asked members of the public to rotate the equipment and that. I mean, personally, I like the K2 meter.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on investigations with you as part of another group who I won't mention.
Yeah.
And to me, that was a bit, TV-fied for me, where we was doing a table séance, and then two members of another group walked in, and all of a sudden the table was going berserk, and then as soon as they left, it was quiet down again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's in a bad way.
This table,
we see it all
and
time,
I wonder,
wonder.
I'm not sure. I'm a skeptic at some things, I must admit. What do you think, Debs? What's your opinion on things like this? Do you think it is? What about you, Andy? Table tipping and all that lot. Tables running up and down the rooms and stuff like that. Scraping the floors in these museums.
I mean, even Steve would say, I think we had a good experience, didn't we, Steve, at Drakelow Tunnels last year?
Yeah.
Where me and Steve went to the car to get something, and on the way back, I said, I'm just going to take a couple of pictures, and I wasn't smoking.
And it wasn't cold.
We got like a mist, didn't we, on the picture?
Yeah, we did that.
Debs has said that somebody told her it's to do with the balance equalising in your ears. Are we talking about tables? Or something along those lines, but I have seen stuff we cannot explain.
Yes.
What do you think, Andy? What's your opinion? So, have you seen things like this and thought, or interesting, or anything like this? Not sure what she means. No, me neither, to be honest with you. So, but, you know, but like you were saying earlier, weren't you? We was talking about tables in the observation, yeah, and it was saying, what was it? It was saying,
yeah, it's saying the table was rocking, which I can go with
understand.
that. I can go with that. But then it did a somersault.
Yeah, a somersault.
That doesn't strike true to me.
It's like that one you posted on Facebook a couple of weeks ago about that the poltergeist activity in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
You know, that was to me that looked a bit staged. I mean, there's some cupboards you couldn't see if anyone was in there, you know, throwing the stuff out. You know, because it was to me the kitchen was too much like a TV set.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there was only one cupboard that you could actually see, and that was basically opposite the dining table.
Right.
I mean,
Deb says she'll dig out the stuff, but someone sent her, and I'm sure it's something to do with the inner ear stuff, which makes you involuntarily move the table. And
so that's saying that it's actually the people on the table doing
yeah,
it, and not spirit.
Andy said, I do know a medium who can move the table, make a table move very easily. That video was definitely fake, and it's on YouTube. But yeah. So, but what about when it's going fast up and down the room? I have seen people pushing it. Oh no, I know what she means. Oh, she knows what she means. Yeah, Andy knows what she means. Okay. So, perhaps you should ring us, Andy, and tell us what she means.
I mean, I've said this before, and it's a bone of contention, I suppose. I mean, we all say if we see somebody pushing it,
take them off.
We take them off
discreetly.
We warn them if it happens again, they'll be told to leave. Mainly because it's not fair on the rest of the people that are there.
Yeah.
But what if it's spirit making them move it?
Yeah. This is it. What if? See, I don't know. I don't know. That's what I have questioned, Steve, says Dev.
It could be. I mean, we're asking spirit to do something.
Yeah.
If spirit's got enough energy, why wouldn't it use us to do it?
Yeah, yeah. This is it. I must admit, I've sat at the table and felt it rock, shake and vibrate and what have you, and I'm not sure.
I mean, I have seen stuff, that I go away and question.
Yeah. You need to. I think you need to question things. Don't you, Steve? You
do. You always have to question what's there. I mean, if you accept everything at face value, then apart from anything else, you're going to look a bit of an idiot.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, actually, coming to think of it, I think the first one I went on with you was the Battlefield Memorial, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And, we had that group from Wales that had them big headlights on their hats. And then you had the news team walking through the field beside you, and that was like...
That was terrible.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
Having said that, we did see lights in the field where nobody was. And we did hear horses' hooves.
Yeah. Because one of the investigators there had one of them night vision cameras, didn't they? And you could actually, when we looked through it, you could actually see like lights in the distance and like the areas like going dark and light, which was quite interesting.
Yeah, That's it was pretty good. I mean, it was bloody cold, and but I mean,
and muddy.
other groups that were in different areas, they were saying that they actually heard cannon fire, which didn't quite jinx with me, because considering the night we were there, it was on the eve of the battle.
Yeah.
So for all intents and purposes, all they were doing was setting up.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, they used to. It was rather stupid the way they used to fight. They used to set up in ranks and stuff like that, and then so we shouldn't really get that.
See, the thing that gets me is I don't know why people do actually fake it, to be honest. We were supposed to be there doing paranormal justice, you know what I mean? Aren't we really? We're supposed to be finding out what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And whether this place is haunted and stuff like that, you know. But
I know one place we went to, we had a couple of people from the Derek Akora fan club.
Yes.
Nothing to do with Derek, they were big fans.
No, they claimed they were from the Derek Akora. Yeah.
But, I mean, we were doing a table on the stage, and this table went up on its side. And the only reason it didn't go is because I stopped it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she goes, "Oh, it stopped," and let go, and it just went back down.
Yeah. So, you know, but Andy says on his infrared camera he's caught all sorts of naughtiness on film, and it's not fair. Deb says that she said, "I don't know. I guess we should trust people we're with, but I've seen people's knuckles go white trying to move a table." You know, but the bit that gets me is, like she said, people are paying us to go on and invest. They're not paying to see people fake it.
They're not.
You know what I mean?
I mean, the Ouija board is another one. I mean, you look at it, and when you are lucky enough to have it moving, you think, well, somebody's pushing that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this is it.
It takes to actually move it around the board. It's pretty obvious to see.
Mm.
And if you're not seeing that, the amount of people that would have to be involved to actually work together to get that where it's going properly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like with that the sand and the pendulum thing you had at the rotunda.
Yeah.
That was weird, wasn't it? You know, it was all level and that when you put it in the room, and you had the motion detectors in that room, but when we went up there to retrieve it, it actually been moving by itself, but the motion detectors hadn't have gone off, did they? But we put that down where we weren't near it to hear them go off, basically. But we had some good things on the stairs, didn't we, Sue, there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I like when you come away and, you know, you've had some kind of experience yourself, you know, and it hasn't been, like, made up, shall we say.
Yeah.
Well, we all say that at least 95% of what happens on any event is personal to you.
Yeah.
It's stuff that you've personally felt, whether that be you yourself on the dowsing rods and can't believe they're moving, or whether you've actually felt as if you've been touched, or cold spots and things like that. That's what makes an evening for the individual.
Yeah.
What makes an evening for us is actually some physical evidence happening, but we live in hope.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know for yourself, you know, you will get the occasional person come back and give you like negative feedback. You know, i.e. because someone was told off for using their laser pen.
Yeah.
You know, they then came back and said, well, I'm disabled, no one offered to help me off the bus and that. But
the daft thing was the person that told her off about using the laser pen was actually with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it. So, but I don't know. Some people. So, but there are groups out there. But then again, there are groups out there that are legit, aren't there? And
Yes.
do, you know, it's just the one or two. You know what I mean? That that are theatrical, for want of a better word, that we've heard of.
Thing is,
Debs.
That's the same thing that Joe Kokura gets accused of.
Yeah.
Because he's theatrical, the way he does it, it's
Yeah.
entertaining.
This is it.
But because of the theatrics, people think he's faking.
Yeah.
And
So
groups that do that automatically get the same thing happen to them. Because it's so theatrical, people think that they're faking it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it. So
I mean, the only people that let them down at the end of the day is themselves, isn't it? When they fake it.
Yeah.
Because that's going to, question whether or not people are going to go again.
Yeah, this is the thing. So, but and also quiet nights, that spoils it for people because they expect something to happen, don't they?
Well, it does. I mean, we've been going 7 years, and we were doing it before that with other groups, and it's the same. And it does happen. You do get quiet nights, and we expect it half the time.
Yeah.
But when people have paid for an event, they want something to happen.
We had a quiet night at was it Durham Barracks?
Yeah.
That's very quiet. I'd say so.
Yeah, that was very quiet, definitely.
It was very quiet the first time. It was bloody freezing the first time.
Yeah.
But saying that, people say that the rotunda's quiet, and yet something you mentioned earlier about electricals going. Well, they had trouble with the electrics, didn't they? Live products, livestock products.
Livestock.
They thought we'd lost a lot of footage.
They did. They actually recorded stuff on CD, and it weren't there.
No.
When you put it in, it was coming up wanting to be formatted.
Yeah.
I did mention to Steve about the rotunda when basically I was asked to go upstairs to put the motion detectors in one of the rooms.
Yeah.
And I actually thought one of the team members was actually coming down the stairs towards me, but it was like just a shadow.
Yeah.
So I'm a believer of if you cross on the stairwell, it's bad luck.
Yeah.
Step to the side, but when I stepped to the side, there was nothing there. But again, at Drake Road Tunnels, there was a lot of shadows, and there was one experiment where we had to all stand up against the wall of one of the tunnels.
Yeah.
To me, that was, I think the thing that scared me the most was the darkness of the place. But even when everyone had gone, and basically we walked around to pick the equipment up, didn't we? And there was loads of things happening.
Yeah, there was. I mean, when we say equipment, we're talking about stuff that we've left in place deliberately, not stuff that had been left behind by people.
Yeah. So
it's one of them funny places because it's so dark. It does set your mind off. Your mind just every little click or drip or something that falls from the ceiling, you think, "Oh shit, what's that?" kind of thing, and you have to try and separate that from what's actually happening.
I noticed Andy's asked a question.
Yes, I'm just about to look at that.
I would say personally, Andy, I believe everyone's got a right to believe what they believe, and I respect what they have to say.
I mean, I read a little bit about the demonic programming, and it is in pop videos.
Yeah, we've seen it.
The
in
symbolism
pop
that he was originally talking about is in a lot of pop videos. It's all there.
Yeah.
What they're actually trying to do with it, I couldn't tell you, but it's there.
It was like you were saying. It's the same with if you see David Beckham, it's all about symbolism, isn't it? If you see David Beckham and they're advertising Brute, for instance, and I'm going back a bit, or whatever, yeah, right, but he's wearing Ray-Bans.
Ray-Bans.
Yeah. Ray-Bans. You're going to go out and buy and think, oh, I'll get some Ray-Bans because he was doing it.
Well, they do it in films all the time. It's called product placement.
Yeah.
It's it's not part of the actual film, and you don't actually see it most of the time, but your mind picks up on it.
Yeah, yeah. So he said it was the later stuff. He missed the video stuff, but it said it found it a bit over the top.
Yeah, it can be a bit
far-fetched.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
it's the way it sounds.
Yeah, you know.
But I mean,
but it's out there.
I mean, the difference is he's done his research on it, and he's got stuff about it, and we haven't, because he's just telling us.
Yeah.
It does make you think, well, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah.
And until I can actually see stuff that says one way or the other, I have to go with him.
Yeah.
Because he has done the research into it, and I haven't. But
well, this is
right. It does make him sound a bit nuts.
Yeah, it does.
But
mind you,
but we all sound a bit nuts at times.
Yeah. Aren't we crazy enough to believe in what we believe in? Come on. We must some of us, you know, there must be normal people out there that think we're stupid chasing shadows. I
mean, there's so much out there that we only know a fraction of it.
I mean, it's like what I was saying earlier about, you know, the spiritualist churches and that, you know, where I joined a church in London, and it was like, oh, you know, join our, you know, circle, you know, and I thought, you know, well, I don't believe in that personally.
Yeah.
You know, I took on the messages that I was getting from, you know, the mediums. I mean, the prime example was in 1999, they had a medium at the church I went to and said to me, you know, on the spirit plane, they don't have no sense of time. You know, that basically doesn't exist. But you know, you're going to save someone's life soon. And basically, I moved to Norwich in 2000, and I went swimming in a local swimming area, and basically there was these two women sitting on the beach, and they were talking away, and all of a sudden one of the women started screaming, and her 4-year-old daughter was actually going under the water, and basically I went and pulled her out, and it weren't until, you know, I sat down on the beach with her and made sure she was all right and that you know, I remembered what this medium had told me at church. But the only thing I don't like about the church is where they try to pull you in.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is it. So when's the next one you're going to go on then, John? Have you decided, or?
Well, you're not doing the Transport Museum, are you?
No, I don't think we'll be doing that one.
No, it was short notice, and we didn't think we would sell it. So, but we have got the we can still do it, but at a later date.
Yeah. So I'm going to postpone that one. It was only one that I booked last week anyway, but I think it's a bit short notice.
I mean, there's 3 places that I want you to keep me in mind for if you ever do them.
Go on.
That's
don't say Alcatraz.
No, I ain't got a passport yet. Well, basically 4. If you get the Germany one, I'll have to get myself a passport for that one.
Yeah, and plenty of money.
Yeah. And I definitely want to do Drakelow again if we ever do that.
Right.
And I will be coming to the old Seamen's Hospital and Orphanage, is it?
Yeah.
And if you get a chance to do either the Thackeray or the Manchester Transport Museum again.
Okie dokie. Not a problem. So.
You will know as soon as we do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, John. I'll speak to you in a bit. All right.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was John telling us about his experience with another group, and which we'd like to hear about what people think. You know, what people are doing. You know, and what they'd like to do with other groups. what they'd like to do with our group. Be polite though. So, but as I say, if you want a bit more of the paranormal, and I think it's on podcast as well because I think he records it, you can sit up and wait for Haunted Voices Radio later on tonight. 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central Time, and 6 o'clock Pacific. Don't ask what it is, GMT. I think it's about 2 o'clock in the morning. That's on hauntedvoices.com with our very own friend Todd Bates. So, Andy wants us to go down south still. So, 4 a.m. he says. 4 a.m. Bloody hell. So, now you know why we podcast things. So, as I say,
coming soon.
Well, what we got coming soon? When we come back from being away a week, we're going to have Andy on. So, and unless somebody else comes to be quick.
So is Andy on first?
Yeah, we'll put Andy on the 17th. Yes. And I will confirm that by Friday. And then on the 24th, we've got Nick Redfern. Alice in Wind Riders on the 14th of August. So I'm sure we'll continue with that. And we've got a couple of other people coming on. You are okay.
We'll definitely follow through with the ones we've got.
Yeah. Oh, you are okay. Oh, you are okay. Can still do the end of the month on the Nazis. Yeah, go on then. So you're going to be next week and the end of the month, are you? If you ever do invest, Andy, I will pop down, but have to find somewhere to chap to stay. Cheap shit, I think he means. So are you saying you're going to do the 17th and you're going to do the last Wednesday as well, Andy?
Yes.
If you like, especially after. What? What? I don't know who he's asking now.
Especially after Nick Redfern.
After Nick Redfern. Right, okay. So, until next time.
Every Wednesday night.
Yep, that might be changing.
This is where it's at.
But this is definitely where it's at. So, got a spare room, John.
Especially after the Tony comment.
Especially after Tony got right. Okay, so we've got Andy on next in 2 weeks, and then we've got Nick Redfern, and then Andy's coming back again. So
to do the Nazis.
Yep, and if we have any more on top of that, we'll let you know. So until next time, I'm afraid that's it.
That's it for us this evening.
Yep.
And don't forget, guys, keep the paranormal friendly.
Yeah, keep it friendly. Good night and God bless.
Night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.
You're in the right place. Online, on the web, and on air. All over the world.
And now, here's a word from our sponsor.
Be honest. Right now, you probably want to lose some weight, live a healthier, more active lifestyle, or get in better shape. We're here to challenge you. Challenge you to make your health a priority with the new Body by Vi 90-Day Challenge.
My favorite thing about the challenge was just losing the weight. Got my life back, that's it.
I come home now, go out and play in the yard with the kids, go to the gym, take the kids to the gym, and starting to live life finally.
Now we've gone from being couch potatoes to being, fit athletes, working out, strength training every single day. It's changed our whole lifestyle, the way that we look at our day.
Let's be real. You don't have to look far to see we have a problem, a growing problem. With today's work demands and faster paced lifestyle driving us toward quick fixes, it's no secret how we got here. And if you're like most who have searched for a solution, you've only found more frustration. Instead of forcing you to adapt your lifestyle to fit a program, the Body by Vi Challenge adopted our program to fit your lifestyle. Finally, something that's simple, affordable, fun, tastes amazing, and most importantly, it works. The Body by Vi Challenge is the solution you've been searching for. The challenge is the world's #1 90-day platform for weight loss and fitness results. To date, over 500 million Visalis shakes have been served to millions of people who have already lost millions of pounds, making the challenge the fastest growing weight loss and fitness movement in the world today. Powered by a line of innovative wellness products from Visalis, the Body by Vi Challenge is the perfect way to start a lasting health transformation. First, you set a goal. Then, select a kit and enter to win. It's that easy. And in a minute, you'll learn how you can even get your kit for free. Let's talk about your goal. If you were to set a 90-day health goal right now, what would it be? Lose some weight? Shed some inches? Run a 5K? Build some muscle? Whatever it is, it all starts with you going public with your challenge goal. Then, you'll select one of 5 challenge kits designed to help you accomplish your goal. The centerpiece of each kit is the Vi-Shape Shake. With a scientifically proven formula, thousands of healthy and delicious ways to mix it up, the Vi-Shake is easy, affordable, and tastes amazing. And since it's a healthy meal replacement, the challenge can actually save you money on your eating out and grocery bills.
Challenge kits are so simple, convenient, easy for a person to take, and it gives them all the nutrients they need to keep their body functioning at the peak performance level.
You can have even more fun and nearly triple your chance of success when you do it with others. That's why Visalis created the 3 for Free program. That helps you get your kit for free when you refer 3 others to take the challenge with you. Last year, over 400,000 free kits were awarded to people on the challenge. Do you want your kit for free?
The 3 for Free program just allows anybody, no matter what circumstances they are, to get their product for free and get healthy at the same time.
I absolutely love the idea that we can get our products for free if we just ask 3 people.
And new in 2013, it gets even better. Having helped millions find success, we're so confident that we've added a new 90-day money-back results guarantee. Save money. Get it for free. Money-back guarantee. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. But wait, need more reasons? How about 47 million more? Last year alone, we gave away over $47 million worth of free product, prizes, and vacations for people on the challenge. And now with the new Body by Vi Challenge, there are even more ways to win, with bigger weekly, monthly, and grand prizes. After studying millions of challenge transformations, we believe that the secret to your success lies in losing the first 10 pounds. That's why we've launched Project 10, where every week in 2013, we're awarding a total of $10,000 to 10 people who lose 10 pounds. Just document your challenge and submit for a chance to be one of 5 men and women selected every week to win $1,000 in cash. What would you do with an extra $1,000? Plus, since everyone who loses on the challenge really wins, lose 10 pounds and rock your free I Lost It t-shirt. How soon will you be saying, I lost it? Every month, those judged to have the best 90-day weight loss, active, and fitness results win and are named Body by Vi Challenge finalists. Feel like a celebrity with your professional photo shoot at Vi Gear Shopping Spree to show off your success and move on to the finals for a chance at being the next Body by Vi champion. 3 times a year, Visalis celebrates the most inspiring 90-day weight loss, active, and fitness transformations by crowning our new Body by Vi champions.
Absolutely amazing. We want this for everybody, so commit, submit, you never know. You fill that thing out and you can win. This is amazing. Our lives are going to change.
Experience the Vi life when the red carpet is rolled out for all champions on the ultimate transformation vacation. And while it's great to be treated like an A-lister just for transforming your health, let's not forget the $5,000 Beverly Hills wardrobe shopping spree. You could be the next Body by Vi champion.
It's been just amazing, getting picked up by a private driver and the goodie bags and the schedule and the feeding and the dresses. It's just been amazing.
It's exciting to know that when you set that goal, as long as you challenge yourself, you're going to get there.
And by simply selecting a kit, you have access to all the resources you need to succeed. Take the challenge, and you'll realize it's not just about what you have to lose, but what you have to gain. So, set your goal, select your kit, enter to win. Talk to the person who showed you this video to learn more or to be invited to a challenge party near you. There is no better time than now to start making your health a priority. So why not start losing weight, getting fit, saving money, and having fun? Guaranteed. Are you up for the new Body by Vi challenge?
The one phone call that I made to try to join the challenge to lose weight has changed every aspect of our life.